Hey everyone, Ben Dierman, BenDierman.net, KDR Fitness. Today we have two of our awesome coaches, Heidi and Christine. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about a position that every single person should be able to get into, and this is an unloaded body weight squat. Okay, everybody should be able to get in this position because every single person needs to be able to reach down to the ground and pick something up off the ground. And one of the easiest ways for you to injure themselves in a deconditioned, untrained person is to reach like this, or really bad, reach like this. So when I get myself closer, okay, it's easier for me to get that stuff. So Heidi and Christine are going to move towards the medicine ball, and they're both just going to drop into a body weight squat because I want to talk real quick about the difference in the two. So you can see they're both about the same height, 5'2", or 5'2.5", excuse me, 5'2" and 5'8". So they're going to go into that squat, and you can see a big difference, right? Heidi already had to make some adjustments, and Christine could just pop right down. So you can see a difference in Christine here, see a difference in Heidi here. This is really hard for Heidi to hold this position. They're both in a bodyweight squat, so I would call this a successful movement. So go ahead, come on up, back up, ladies. So the big difference between why it's difficult for Heidi to get in that position and Christine can just kind of drop down is Christine has a shorter torso, so from her hips to her rib cage, the bottom of her ribs, it's a shorter distance than what Heidi does. So Heidi has a longer lever, right? So this is a longer distance between her hip and her rib cage. Because of that, that means that Christine has longer legs, right? So her hips are up higher. Actually, yeah, do that. And then Heidi has shorter legs, okay? And so I don't know if you guys can see the difference, but to me it looks about at least 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, okay? And that's the difference. That's why Christine's able to just drop right down into that squat, and Heidi's not. Heidi has to go through a lot more range of motion at her joints than Christine does. That's why some people look a lot better when they deadlift, or back squat or front squat, because they have that shorter torso. They're able to stay more upright. Okay? It doesn't mean that Heidi can't back squat or deadlift, just means that she has to do some adjustments. Right? So go ahead and drop back down to that squat, ladies, please. This is the position that we want you guys to be able to get into. Okay? But it's not enough to be able to get into a position, because then once you're in a position, you have to be able to move around in that position. Okay? You have to be able to, sometimes people in the fitness professional say own that position, right? So these beautiful ladies are going to come back up, and they're going to come to the end of the, hopefully they'll still be in the camera scene. So they're going to drop back down to that squat, and then they're going to own that position. So they're going to move in that position. So all they're doing is trying to keep their hips as low as possible. They're trying to keep their heads up and their chests up. And as soon as you guys get to those marks, go turn around, and then come on back. Won't work them too much. So again, you can see where it's a little bit easier for Christine to get into that position. You can see Heidi's butt's coming up, right? So that's not anything against Heidi. That's just something that she's fighting her own body, okay? So Heidi really needs to work on ankle mobility. So basically, the ability for the knee to go past the toes, and yes, that's okay as long as there's no pain. And she has to work on thoracic extension. So she has to do a lot more work on thoracic extension than what Christine would have to do. Ben Dierman, BenDierman.net, KDR Fitness.